What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Glad to have another work week over with. Fun little slate tonight. It's a fun one, I guess. Let's see here. Already grabbing some questions. Love that. Favorite under the radar play? I really think Aaliyah Boston's going to go overlooked at the top. I really do. I mean, she's had in 28 minutes against Dallas, 28 minutes, she went for 50. I as Caitlin Clark goes, typically Aaliyah Boston goes with her. So I Caitlin Clark's going to be super popular. Aaliyah Boston's probably not going to be very popular at all. So I like Aaliyah Boston to get different. I think you can get different playing like Nat Howard, Natasha Cloud. I think Kalia Copper is going to go overlooked a little bit. She had a good game last night, like 12 of 19 shooting. Obviously, the games where she can go for like 50 plus is when she's getting rebounds and like stuff in the stat sheet a little bit. Typically, like most of her fantasy output comes from scoring. So, obviously best game of the day is this Phoenix Indy game. So pretty much like everything in there. There's definitely some good under the radar plays for sure. Ryan or Tina Charles, Ryan for me. I just trust the minutes more with her, and like I don't trust Tanisha Wright at all. But like I expect Ryan Howard to play high 20s, low 30s minutes, and she's their best player. Like she's going to have the highest usage of anyone on the team. So I think I'd go that way. So same starters for pretty much everyone. But yeah, I would go Ryan. And I love Tina Charles. I love the price tag that she has at 8K. Like they've just been capping her minutes, like 20 minutes. Like here she played 26, 25, 23. Like she can play over 30 minutes, but now like pretty much everyone's healthy on that team now. You got like Ariel Powers is the only one that's out. So it's gross. Like and they're starting Nas Hillman like they're Tanisha Wright's still on a kick about Cheyenne Parker. Like she's so petty. She does not need to be a coach in the league. Yep, I think Canada can hit value. I like her a little bit more on FanDuel just because her price is a little lower. She's probably my second favorite play on Atlanta. I'm not very high on that team in general, just because it's the worst matchup on the slate. Like Seattle, in the last month of the season, like before we went into the Olympic break, Seattle was the best defensive rate, had the best defensive rating of any team. Like they were playing the best defensively. And we know Atlanta can be like super sloppy at times. So I don't have a ton of interest. I would expect Canada to play like mid 20s minutes. I think she can get there, especially since she's starting. Like I would be a little more worried had she been coming off the bench that we could have got another game like this against New York where she only played like 15 to 18 minutes. But I think like 24 to 28 minutes is like well in the ballpark, and she's a pretty good fantasy point per minute player. She's a great passer, good facilitator, good defender. So I definitely don't mind playing Canada. Yeah, this slate is fun. Which I mean, it helps when you just start your lineup and go, oh, cool. Let me trickle on down here to Freeville and go from there. Like depending on what owner, like what Satu's ownership comes in at, like if she comes in at 80%, like we're playing rake free tonight, boys. So it's she should be 100% owned. Like she's one of the I don't know 10 or 15 best WNBA players in the league, and she's $4,700. So it's crazy. But this slate is a lot of fun. Like that Phoenix Indiana game is going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy. Doing good, doing good. Glad the work week is over. Thank God. Ready for the fights tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that. Clark Burton or Mabry K. Mitch. I probably lean Clark Burton. I just love the upside that Caitlin Clark has. the upside that she has is nuts. And in a matchup like this, like I think she went for 20 rebounds and assists in 19, and then 19 and 21. And then obviously she has shooting upside. I think like the peripherals are always going to be there for her, and this time off where she's going to get where she got rested up, like she could shoot the lights out tonight. So really hard for me to stay away from Clark. Oh boy, good luck. Good luck. I do like the Connecticut-Dallas game to get a little bit different. Dallas is just historically bad on defense, like one of the worst ever. But the deal is, like, Connecticut's not a super elite offense, but I mean, I still would bet the over if I could in that game. Like Dallas is going to score points. Like they have too many good offensive weapons. So, yep, I think you can absolutely just go straight back to BG since we got no mention of them possibly being on a limit. Yes, she played 30 minutes last night, or 32 minutes, I think. Like they absolutely dog walked Chicago. Yeah, she played 32 minutes. I don't expect them to be limited at all. Like if anything, she may play like 30 minutes, like may lose out on 1 or 2 minutes, but I'm still all in on Phoenix for sure. Necker or BG on FanDuel? BG for me. I think it's just the discount. I'd go BG. What is it, like a $600? Well, if it'll load. Yeah, $600. I would go BG for that, or 500, whichever one it is, 500 or 600. Yeah, could never be me. Like, could never be me. She is the freest of squares we're probably ever going to get. Like, just play her and figure out a way to get different elsewhere. Like, oh, man. I do think she gets a little bit of run. I'm pretty tilted because I was all like set to play her tonight for Phoenix because she played like 17 minutes last night. And on the back-to-back, I thought there was a possibility she could play like 15 to 20 again and facing Indiana. They need her defense. And then, like, they let her 7-day run out and just whatever, just let Connecticut come and take her. Like, whatever. But I do expect her to get probably like 6 to 10 minutes just because the Sun are super shorthanded. It does tell me also that Tiffany Mitchell is going to be out a while. So that they brought Celeste in, which I think she belongs in W. Her offensive game needs to develop quite a bit, but she's young. She's a great defender, though. Best values, Satu Sabali, obviously. Then you've got like Sophie Cunningham. Canada's a good one. Ty Harris is a good one that no one's really talking about. Then you really just have to dip way on down here like Naz Hillman. She's fine. She's starting, so I don't mind her. Then Veronica Burton, I have quite a bit of interest in at 4,600. She should play high teens, maybe low 20s minutes. Not the best fantasy point per minute player, but like she can stuff the stat sheet, and it's a revenge game narrative if you want to buy into that. And then like Lexi Hull, she's going to play some off the bench. She's fine. Everyone else, I'm pretty out on. Let's see here. Sorry, just getting on Ryan Howard. I am just the biggest Ryan Howard fan. I can't believe I'm not more interested at this price, but I just I like her, and I think like this is the best time to play her because she's 7,700. I just don't like the matchup, and with Canada back and like everyone's healthy, I'm still in, just not all the way in that I was last night. Like I still think she's a great play because she's 7.7K and she can easily pay that off because she's going to shoot it. There's one thing I know about Ryan Howard. She's going to shoot the ball. Tina Charles, Horston, or Canada, and one of the Connecticut guards. If like I'm choosing one of the Connecticut guards, I probably lean like my favorite is going to be Bonner, but like I have no issues playing Mabry. Mabry is going to shoot it a ton. Like this is her first game with Connecticut. She's going to have to play big minutes with Dejanay out and Tiffany Mitchell out. So I really love both of them. I think it's truly a coin flip, and like both of them are going to be pretty score independent. Like Mabry is more apt to get the peripheral stats. So it's really tough. I have a slight lean to Bonner just because she's been in the system longer. I think it's more likely that she might play a few extra minutes, but I really love both of them. And then like Charles and Horston, they're fine. If Tina Charles plays mid-20s minutes, she looks amazing. I just have my doubts that she's going to get that much run. BG and Lexi Hole or Big T and Sophie. Oh, Big T. I think I'll go Big T and Sophie. We've seen Big T absolutely crush this matchup. We'll know immediately, like within her first run, if she's going to be good Big T or bad Big T. So the last time they played Connecticut, she went for 37 in 26 minutes. Then she went for 21 in 25 minutes. So one good one, one mediocre one. I just love the price on her. Like she's a dominant player and she's sub 8K. So it's really hard to pass that up, even though she is super, super frustrating to roster. I got lots of BG, lots of Indiana players mixed around, but high on Bonner Thomas. Yep. I don't mind that at all. I'm really, really high on the Connecticut guards. But the game that I like the most, obviously, is the Phoenix Indy game. I think you can almost just stack it up if you want. Like Indiana plays zero defense. Obviously, Phoenix is on the back end of a back-to-back. So, and like their best players are just coming back from the Olympics. So maybe some jet lag, but they need every game. Like I was telling everyone in the Discord earlier, I'm not surprised all their players are playing. They need every game. They have to win all these games that they can, like to make the playoffs and then try and get a decent like seed. So lean with Hole or Burton. Burton for me. I'm much more confident in Burton's minutes, and like her fantasy output is just a lot better than Hole. If Hole comes in and hits some threes and outscores Burton, like so be it. I'm disappointed, but it is what it is. I'm just way more confident that Burton's going to play like far more minutes. Clark and BG highest exposure after Satu for me. Sorry. Yeah, I think best like the best two plays in the slate are Caitlin Clark and Satu. Like Clark for me, I'm expecting her to come in at like 45 to 55% owned. I think that's a bit low. I think she's just going to absolutely eat in this matchup. Thoughts on Canada? Mentioned her a little bit earlier. I think she's fine. I think she can pay the salary off at 6,800, especially since she's starting. I do have a little bit more interest now that she's starting. I think her minutes are a little bit more secure. Probably plays like mid-20s, somewhere right around there. Nope. She played for the Mercury last night, and her 7-day contract ended. And this morning, so Connecticut picked her up needing a guard. So she plays for the Sun now and is going to dress and play for the Sun tonight. So, really weird. Really weird. Mabry or Bonner for a contrarian look. I don't think it's super contrarian. I like both of them. If you're only playing one, I lean Bonner, but it's truly a coin flip. Like I have shares of both. Like I love both tonight. So Nalissa or Bree Jones, I like Nalissa. I think this is a good spot. It's a good spot for her. Phoenix does not rebound the ball well on the defensive end. They rebound the ball better on the offensive end, which is weird. We just saw what Angel Reese did to him. I mean, obviously she shot horribly, but she just ate him alive, rebounding the ball. Nalissa with no Fagbinley, fully expecting her to play close to 30 minutes, maybe even push. I mean, last time they played Phoenix, she pushed for 35 minutes, had a good game. I'm pretty high on Nalissa tonight. Any punt value play under 3,800 you'd think won't get a 0. It's tough. Like, Nika Mule's not playing. Lou Lopez isn't playing. Berger's not playing. Like, Nadur Fall, like, she probably has to play like a rotation. But my worry with playing her is I could see both teams just going small. Like, an AT playing the small ball 5, and then, like, Dallas just going to Nat Howard at the 5. So it's risky playing her. And then really next, I guess you could play like Holmes. I'm not confident that she's going to get very much run. So it's tough. Then like Jaylen Brown, I mean, I guess she played 18 minutes in the very first game of the season, hasn't been back since. Is not a very good fantasy point per minute player. So it's really tough. And then like Dantas will play. Obviously, she played 13 minutes here in this last game. I'm expecting more like the 5 to 8 range. So, and then like I think Sug Sutton's like 3,900. Yeah, I like Sug Sutton at 3,900. I figure she's going to play like 10 to 12. Well, they didn't really have a choice. Like, since she was signed on a hardship, like because Satu was overseas and players were hurt, they don't have a choice. Like, once those players come back, they have to release the hardships. So I'm surprised they haven't brought her back and actually let someone on the roster go to bring her back. But she's been all over Instagram blasting them, so she may not go back. Sophie or Ty Harris, I think it's really close. I lean Sophie. She's been playing better of late, and like she's just going to play massive minutes. Wouldn't shock me if she plays like 33 to 35 minutes tonight, and it's her birthday, like, so maybe she hits a couple threes for us. Canada versus Cunningham. Might lean Canada, but I think it's super close. Like, if you think Canada only sees like 20 minutes, I would probably go to Sophie because her minutes are going to be a lot more secure. But with Canada's injury being a broken finger, I imagine her conditioning is what like I know to expect from Jordan Canada, where she could play the entire game if she's needed. So I think it's a lot more of a coin flip, but I'd lean Canada. Yep, I think you can absolutely play 2 Connecticut guards together. I think you can play Bonner and Mabry together. I think you can play Mabry and Burton or Bonner and Burton, just really whatever you want to do. But yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. Griner, Big T, or Nalissa Ryan. That's tough. That's so tough. Because I love Ryan. Griner, Big T. It kills me. That one hurts. Thoughts on that? I don't mind her. I think she's contrarian play on DraftKings just because of her price point. But she's a fantastic fantasy point per minute player. I think she's a lot more in play on FanDuel just at her price. Like, she's like 6,800. But yeah, I always have interest in that. If she gets 28 to 32 minutes, she can smash. She's a good fantasy point per minute player. Favorite FanDuel values? Let's look over here. It's probably just like the Phoenix guards, like the cheaper ones, like DT, Sophie. Then you got like Veronica Burton. Big T is pretty cheap on FanDuel. She's sub 6K. Let's look here. Jordan Canada's 5,300. I think she's in play. Katie Lou Samuelson's 4,900. Naz Hillman's 4,600. Lexi Hull's 4K. Like, there's a few plays that I think are viable. I wouldn't dip down too low. I think it's more of a balance build on FanDuel today for sure. Make sure there's. Can't ever get Ezzy right. I was nailing her to start the year, and I've been in the same boat here lately. I think she's a good play tonight, just because like it's a good matchup. It's not the best, but she just has so much stock upside. 3, 4, 1, 0, 5, 9, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1. Like she went on a tear where she was getting like 5 or 6 a night. And that's where she's going to make a lot of her, that's where a lot of her upside lies. She's never going to be like a premier offensive player, especially with the players around her. But anytime she scores in double figures, she has the potential to put up like a 50 burger. So I love the upside that she has tonight. Yeah, the Indiana game is going to be extremely popular. Yeah, pretty much everyone in that, like all the starters in that game are going to be pretty popular. Alyssa Thomas, yeah, I'm really high on Alyssa at sub 10K. Triple double upside for $10,000 for sub $10,000. Sign me up. I mean, she played against Dallas. She played 29 minutes and put up 37 fantasy points. That's when they absolutely blew the doors off of them. They were up like 40 at one point. Obviously, with AT, the way she gets there is her peripheral stats, and if she scores in double figures. But she's just a minutes hog. She typically plays the whole game. Here, this game against Dallas, 36 minutes, a 50 burger. So just I can't believe she's sub 10K. Like that's crazy to me. Yeah, yeah, it's weird. I don't know if Phoenix realized it because she signed the 7-day like 6 days before the Olympics, the Olympic break. And so her first day back was their first game. And I don't know if they didn't know that they needed to renew it or they just didn't care or what. But yeah, that's weird. Hillman versus Burton. I lean Burton. I just don't trust like anyone really from Atlanta besides like Canada and Ryan Howard. Like those are the only two. I guess you could sprinkle in like some Alicia Gray, but like Nas wouldn't shock me if she plays like 15 to 18 minutes and is done. She played 21 and 23 the past 2 games. Not a very good fantasy point per minute player. I would just rather play Burton. Like if Burton's going to get that same amount of minutes, I would just rather go there in a better matchup. Yep, it's a 50-50 with Big T. She's either going to absolutely bury your lineup or she is going to carry you to the top. And at 7,200, it doesn't take much for her to carry you there. And I mean, she's shown well over 40 fantasy point upside. Nope, I think K Mitch is a great target because she always comes in lower owned. She is pretty score independent. That's the only knock on her. But she's a great tournament play. Obviously, big scoring ceiling, but a lower floor if the shot's not falling. But she's been playing huge minutes, like 36, 38, 33, 35, 36, shooting it a ton. She's going to get open looks too. So had one of her best games of the year against Phoenix right before the break. So definitely don't mind going there for sure. I'm ready to see this ownership though on this Phoenix Indiana game. I think it could be crazy. Let's check Discord. Let's see here. 9,300 forward. It's probably just Ezzy. Yeah, I would just go Ezzy. I like her over Nalissa at that range. Just have to hope that she's a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end and get you there. Like obviously, you want to see her taking like these. Like if she takes 10 shots, she's probably going to get there. Just because the peripherals are always going to be there. So I'm in on Ezzy there. Yeah. I made enough money to buy a double cheeseburger today. So the that New York LA game was over like 4 minutes in. It's crazy. I cashed both my lines, but they were min cashes and puckering. Uh, I don't hate Horston. I think her price is really solid. And I think right around this range, like obviously, I would play Ryan Howard over her if you have the extra $200, just because her ceiling is a lot higher. Matchup isn't the best, but like her ceiling there, like I don't mind Horston. I like Ryan Howard. I like Kelsey Mitchell. Chelsea or Tina Charles is fine for tournaments, and you got like Sophie and Big T are both fine. Canada's fine. Like that range, there's a bunch of plays that are viable for tournaments for sure. Yep, Sammy's always super cheap. Always plays like 10 to 15 minutes, and if you catch the game where she hits 4 or 5 threes, there you go. You're climbing the ladder board real quick. Showdown slate. Let's look here. Connecticut and Dallas. Really, I think like the most popular, what everyone's gonna do is just play like saw to it captain, and then just fill out the rest. Like it's pretty. That's the brain, like the brainless lineup where you just play everyone off that. So if you do play saw to it captain, you're going to need to play somebody that maybe people don't want to play, like a Big T, or go down like leave salary on the table, or play like a Veronica Burton down here cheap, like one of the cheap plays, and then load back up on the top end. So I think a way to get different in this showdown tonight is spending up at captain to either AT or Bonner or Mabry or Enrique, and then filling your lineup out from there. But I think the chalk start will be Satu at captain, and then just go from there. Ezzy, Mabry, or Smith. I lean Ezzy. Like I think Ezzy is the most optimal out of those three. So I'll go Ezzy. BG versus AT. AT for me. AT. Brown or Sheldon. I guess Sheldon. I'm just worried about her minutes going forward, like with Jaylen Brown back. But I think since they're so bad, like I think they're still going to play her. So I'd lean Sheldon over Kalani. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm a monster. Tina Charles or Nalissa, last one in. Nalissa. Is it safe to have Clark in Boston? I love it. I love that. Like that is a way to get different on this slate. I'm not playing both of them together, but I love that. When if Boston goes, like Clark's going to be feeding her assists. So I mean, as Boston goes, Clark will go, and I think that's a great stat. Sably, Boston, or BG on FanDuel. Boston. Don't mention that. Don't say that. Don't say that. We do not need any foul trouble from either of them tonight. I don't want to see either of them in foul trouble. Please. One time for the one time. But yes, they do alternate getting in foul trouble. I agree. Neka Hole or BG Kalani. BG Kalani. Like I just don't trust Hole enough. Like I know when Kalani's out there, she's gonna be productive. So I'd go BG Kalani. Good luck. Good luck. We have almost arrived at lock. I want to see what some of this ownership comes in at. buddy asking me questions. I got to build all my MMA lineups for tomorrow and work on, like, I still got to record YouTube video for tomorrow's slate, do all the content for it, and then work on MMA lineups. All right. We have arrived at lock. Let's see some of this ownership, and then we'll get out of here for tonight. Ended up running 3 lines in the big contest, so see kind of how they look. If it'll load. All right. Jeez. Caitlin Clark, 56%. So right, nailed it right on the head. Brittany Griner, 44%. Sophie Cunningham, 8%. There you go. Clea Copper, 10%. I don't know why Phoenix is low owned. That makes no sense. Nalissa Smith, 11%. Ryan Howard, 45%. Those are the only players that I have going in these early games. Let's see. Cheyenne Parker, 9%. Sug Sutton, not even 1%. Joel Lloyd, 13%. Whitcomb, 2%. Naz Hillman, 7%. Kelsey Mitchell, 14%. I like that ownership. Yep, there is some good money to be had. Jordan Canada, 11%. So we saw 45% Ryan Howard and then 11% Canada. So let's see. I'm kind of different. Hope it works out. Bonner, K-Mitch, BG, Ezzy, AT, and Satu. I like it. I like it a lot. Copper, 10% is wild. Wild to me. Aaliyah Boston, 18%. So figured she would be lower owned, and she absolutely is. That's crazy. That's a great tournament play. And I didn't do it. I've been thinking about it all day long and didn't do it. Let's see here. Ezzy, 25%. So SDS, 8%. So nothing too crazy. That tells me that the Connecticut-Dallas game is going to be super, super popular, which I'm really surprised that Phoenix is not as popular as I thought they'd be. Indiana can't stop a nosebleed. So I don't know. That makes no sense that Phoenix is that low owned. I mean, BG's popular, but that's really it. Cloud, 2%. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, I love it. If you play a Clark Boston stack, I love it. I think they could go for 100 combined. Just need Boston to stay out of foul trouble. That's really it. That's the only thing that would slow her down, in my opinion. I got Copper in 2 lineups, 10%. Yep. I played her in 1 of 3, so I'm really happy with that ownership. So that's going to do it for me, guys. We got early start time tomorrow. I think it's 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I will be live. Yeah, I'll be live at 12:30 for Live Before Lock. I'll have the YouTube video out here in just a little bit. I'll probably record it during halftime of these early games and get it dropped out for you guys. But good luck to everybody, and hope to see you guys at the top.